This morning, we're starting off with a new beautiful book that's paying tribute to a dearly departed restaurant and shop in Seattle's Pioneer Square. I'm talking about the London Plain. It was located on the Occidental Mall, and it was owned by Yasuaki Saito and Catherine Anderson, and operated there for more than a decade before it closed at the beginning of 2023. It was a community favorite, not only for its food, but its flower shop as well. And now Catherine is out with this brand new book, The London Plain Flower and Cookbook, and we're going to be cooking a recipe from the book later in the show. But first, Catherine joins me now with some beautiful florals. Welcome, welcome.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. It's really exciting to be here to talk about the book and flowers and food.
All the fun things.
Yeah.
It smells divine over here right now. I need all of these in my home. Before we get to the flowers, though, how did this new book come about? Why did you want to get this going?
Yeah, you know, the London Plain was truly beloved, not just by the staff, but also by the community who came to the restaurant week in, week out. We had so many regulars who were honestly heartbroken when we closed, as were we. So I really thought I'd love to create something that could almost be a gift to those people. And so I didn't think of it as a book that was for necessarily a national audience, but more that it would be something that felt like a piece of London Plain in your home. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is so amazing. I'm one of those people that was devastated when you guys closed. I love sitting out there and having brunch and walking around the shop.
It's such a special neighborhood in Seattle that, you know, goes through highs and lows, but we just were so committed to being there. And, you know, we were there for 10 years and felt really good about what we were able to bring.
Yeah, and now, like you said, you have this gift, which is the flower and cookbook. You're going to show me today something with obviously these beautiful flowers. So what are we putting together?
Yeah, so in addition to having had the restaurant and the flower shop, I have a flower farm in the Snoqualmie Valley, and it's called Marigold and Mint. It predated the London Plain. There was a little shop on Capitol Hill, and so that farm continues on, and I mostly now grow peonies and roses at that farm. So what you see today it's like peak peony harvest time right now in Seattle and the Northwest. And I think most people are used to maybe the coral peonies, which are these, or
the white ones I see a lot.
And then there are also a lot of white ones coming out right now. And then in this big arrangement, you can see it's got a bunch of sort of very pale pink peonies that are sort of like those bombs of romance in a way that all of the brides love. We used to get so many requests for peonies, and it's like, well, if you get married in June, you can have them, right? But honestly, with peonies and arrangements, I often like them all by themselves. I mean, they're just so spectacular. That said, sometimes it's nice to have like a composed arrangement. This is one version that just has a couple elements. It has the big, beautiful couple varieties of pale pink ones combined with smoke bush, which is, it comes in this sort of burgundy, but you can also get it in like a bright green. And I really like that burgundy color paired with the pale pink.
I do too, it's poppin'.
Yeah. And there are a couple of roses in there too. But I thought I'd also show you how to do a more composed arrangement that you might want as a centerpiece for a dinner party, or if you're having dinner outside for Father's Day and you want some flowers on the table.
Yeah.
This could work. So this arrangement is a bit lower. We've got it on the Lazy Susan, which is a trick a lot of florists use. It's just so helpful when you're putting things into the vase. I actually have a bit of chicken wire in there.
I saw that, tape.
And some tape just to hold the elements. I have put in some of the greens just to get us started. And one thing that you'll see in here, there are three types of elements that are actually traditionally thought of as food. Right? And that's something the London Plain did really well, which was this blurring of the lines between like what's food and what's decoration. So things that I grew on the farm as flowers could end up in the kitchen and vice versa. So I think people can see we have just some mint.
That's what I'm smelling.
And then blueberries, I think you can see here, they're green blueberries on the stem. We often use raspberry greens or blackberries while they're still green. Those are really beautiful.
Cool.
And there's a tiny bit of currant in here that's also really beautiful in arrangements.
It is. All the different textures.
Right.
And so now we add, right?
Yeah, now we should add. So why don't you hand me really whatever you want.
There's some ones that are speaking to me.
Yeah, okay, whatever speaks to you.
Okay.
So these, I like these bright yellow roses. I just harvested all of this yesterday at the farm.
Gosh, to have that at your farm in your backyard has got to just be so incredible.
Yeah, it is. I actually got out there yesterday to just cut a couple things for the show, and was like, so much was in bloom, and so
Blown
it was
away.
just nuts.
Are we doing like different like heights too? I mean, I love the Lazy Susan, how you can move it
so
around.
We often think in terms of sections of 3 sections in an arrangement for this kind, and so you have one section at the back that's goes up a bit and also has some drape off to the side. There's another section down lower in front and another that'll mirror it a bit on the other side but be a little bit higher. And you know, you're thinking carefully as you put each one in about who belongs next to who wants to be friends in the vase is how I used to I think of it.
A little color coordination, a little.
Yeah, a little bit as you go, but they do have a way in which they really can arrange themselves. I mean,
I feel like you can't go wrong with your spectacular flowers.
It's hard with peonies to go wrong. And we also have a little bit of magical pearl rose in here. I have a fence around my peony farm now, and it has these beautiful magical pearl roses growing on the fence, which are really nice right now, but they're also beautiful in the fall with their hips. Their rose hips are really, really nice.
What else can people find too in this cookbook, flower book, all of the above?
It's so the book ended up being a little bit more of a memoir than I expected it to be. I had started writing a newsletter during COVID, and people really responded to that, a newsletter to our restaurant audience. And so the book is organized January through December, and each chapter has an essay sort of about life in the restaurant and shop in that month. And so the March chapter, it's actually about COVID, March 2020, and what it was like for us on that end. It's also filled with recipes that are like sort of seasonally specific. I've got recipes that came in from a whole bunch of different chefs who worked at the restaurant.
Gosh, amazing.
Yeah.
And I bet you just have so many favorite memories from the London Plain, if you wouldn't mind sharing.
Sure. I mean, there were so many weddings that happened at the London Plain after hours that then they'd come back a year later with the baby that was born. Some of my favorite times were also the pop-ups we'd do with other restaurateurs. So Ben's Bread, for example, which now has opened up in Greenwood. We did a great English muffin breakfast sandwich event with him and sold out immediately. But I have to say the holidays were some of my favorite because all of our departments were firing on all cylinders, arrangements going out for people's Thanksgiving tables, the pastry department making incredible pies, the kitchen making incredible food for people for the day after Thanksgiving to serve people who had guests in from out of town.
Gosh, you had a little of everything at that shop, and we've all missed it so much, but thank you for putting this book together so we can still honor, one of our favorite spots in a new way, in an exciting way.
Yes, and it's a really, people have really been loving it, so that's very satisfying.
Well, good. Yeah. Well deserved. Thank you so much. I definitely am going to take some of these home if you don't mind.
Yes.
So appreciate it.